Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be doing a little overview of what's been going on with the battery relocation kit and the motor. So, here we go. So this is what's been going on. I stretched the 4 plugs that I explained on the unboxing video that is now up on my channel. That I had to stretch them. So I didn't want to bore you with that whole process. It was very long, very tedious. Anybody can do it. There's tons of videos on how to splice, heat shrink, and solder. So if you guys are interested in any of that, there's plenty of other videos out there. I didn't want to bore you with that. So I did finally stretch the cables. So I had, these are 3. This is MAP, TPS, and there's the MAP, TPS, and another one over here. The idle air control valve. Those are these 3, and there's one underneath here that leads to the idle air temp that leads out of here. I had them originally coming all through here, but it looked like such a mess. I didn't want to do that, so I rerouted. Now, to get this manifold facing that way, you have to flip the runners. So you gotta put the one on the back head in the front and the front one on the back head. Now you also gotta reverse the gaskets as well, and they all fit. You have to take out a little bracket. You have to take out this bracket right here, which isn't really needed because we're not running power steering or any of that. So took that out, and now the manifold sits correctly. Now the reason why this one isn't plugged in is because it's a different map sensor. But that's not gonna matter because I'm actually gonna be running a B series throttle body on my J series, and it's round plug, so I don't have to worry about that at all. So yeah, well, that's that. I finally fished through the start wire. I put it on the side of the body, and you can see it right down there. I have 3 clips that they self zip tie to. I tapped a little hole, 3 little holes, push the clip in, and zip tied them nice and neat. It goes under the rack, and it's zip tied nicely there, and it goes up through the center feed hole that I had made for my for all my AM gauges, all those wires that fish through there, and it goes over to the battery to the splitter location. Now I'm going to be routing the power wire, the negative wire, and that's really it. And this should be finished up. I'm not going to hook anything up to the splitter as of yet. I'm going to relocate 2 lines for my brake tuck. So I was running a brake booster delete kit. And when you run a brake booster delete kit on your factory brake booster, you have 2 lines. On a booster delete kit, you have 1. So you have to make that line split into 2. So I'm taking my booster, I'm taking those 2 lines apart, and that single line apart, that's split into 2. I'm going to take the ends off of it, and I am going to add I'm going to add the 2 lines back onto the splitter. But to do that, I have to bend line. I went and bought these 100 proof hardware banjo ends for the brake tuck, because the last one that sat on my firewall were pretty finished. So that being said, I'm going to do that. I'm going to fish everything through, and I'll show you the final product once everything is finished. So guys, as you can see, positive wire, positive terminal, negative terminal. Still got a few little minor touch-ups to do. I'm gonna zip tie these both together like this, so everything is nice and clean. Same thing with this one. You really won't see any of this once I'm finished. But yeah, line was fished all the way through. Comes underneath the side plastic. It'll come out right through here, and yeah, it'll go into the splitter right there. So you always gotta finagle things once you get new stuff, but yeah, that's it for right now. I'm gonna finish this up and I'll be right back. So that is the final product. Everything zip tied nice. There is a cover that goes on top of here, so you won't see any of this. But yeah, this is all set to go. That is my fuel pump relay, and I did all that as well. So yeah. So last thing left is to mount the splitter, which I'm not doing yet, like I mentioned earlier, because I got to do those 2 lines on my splitter for my brake tuck. And then there's the ground for the splitter and the 2 wires that I need to pin into the harness and solder and heat shrink onto my wideband. That is all that's left on the battery relocation kit, and we're literally running out of things to do. I'm still looking for another solution to the axles. Axles are super fucking expensive. Super expensive. So if I have to bite the bullet and spend $500 on a set of axles, I will. But I definitely think somebody else has figured something out, at least just for a mock-up, because I want to mock up all my turbo stuff. So I might actually just use some axles that I have sitting in my parts car, my 03 Accord. It came with a 3.0 V6 that I just recently sold to my buddy John. So yeah. So the list is, we got to mock up the turbo piping. Got to do exhaust piping. I still have to go get 2 hoses for the heater core. The 2 lines. And pump the fuel lines. Well, plumb the fuel lines. So, still got to figure that out. A buddy of mine came over and said that he could possibly drill that completely out, so we don't have to go with aftermarket ones. Because that's the only difference between the aftermarket ones and these, that it's completely flows through the whole thing. It doesn't have that little barrier. So yeah, with that being said, before I leave this episode, I will have merch, t-shirts, hopefully hats. I'm not 100% sure, but definitely shirts and decals. I'll be taking pre-orders. You can contact me on my IG at Sandy, SANDI, Dreams, DREAMZ _76. And I'll be taking pre-orders there. And yeah, that's really about it. So like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Thanks for joining.